Hello soulmates, welcome to the channel. This is So with Oma. In today's video we'll be learning how to draft and cut the off shoulder with a band sleeve and a sweetheart neckline. So without wasting any much time, let's get into the video proper. So the first thing I always like to do is to get my baseline. I'm going to go down by 1 inch. So this is the point where we start getting all our measurements. So this is my baseline, rather this is my baseline, and we'll start getting all our measurements. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get all my points. And I'll be starting from here. First of all, I'll get my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 8 inches. So I'm going to mark it, that's 16 inches divided by 2. So I'm going to indicate that here and just mark it like so. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to come from this baseline down and also get 8 inches. This will serve as my chest line. So I'll do the same thing here, 8 inches. This will serve as my chest line. I'm going to place my marker here and rule to connect these lines. Okay, on this line I want to get my armhole, so I'm going to place the same 8 inches I got here for my shoulder. That's the same thing I'm going to place here and connect like this. So I'm going to connect like this. Alright, so from this point here I will get my armhole curve, my armhole here.
That's that about the yoke area. We'll move on to all the points now. And so I'm going to get my bust point. The bust point for this customer is 10 inches. I'm going to mark it like so. My the under bust point for this customer is 13 inches. I'm also going to mark it like so. Now the waist point for this customer is 18 inches. And I'm going to mark it like so. 18 inches. So there we have it. And the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect all the points together. I'm going to use just the waist points up to the waist point. You can make it a blouse, but the center of focus, or the main focus in today's tutorial is the upper part. So that's what we are working on. So that's why I'm stopping here at my waistline. So I'm just going to put this chest line. This is my bust point. This is my under bust and my waist point. Alright, so that's that basically. And so for this part, right, we're supposed to have our armhole here, but honestly speaking, it's not necessary. It's not necessary at this time because we're not using the regular armhole. We're not using the regular shoulder. You get, so we're just going to work on the body, right? We're just going to work on the body. But we have off shoulder, right? And this particular style is an off shoulder, so we're going to indicate where we want the off shoulder to be. And looking at it, I can see that the off shoulder is not so down. It is the sweetheart that went so down. Sorry if I'm blocking. The sweetheart is what came down, like the V for the sweetheart is what came down, but actually the off shoulder is not so down. So I'm going to be making use of about 6 inches, which is not bad at all. That way it's not looking too decent and also it's not looking exposed. So I'm going to work with 6 inches. So I'm just going to rule that like so. Okay, now the next thing I want to do, so I'll just put this as my off shoulder just to indicate it, just to indicate off shoulder. So the next thing I'm going to do now is, on this point we need our nipple to nipple. That's from your nipple to the next nipple. And for my customer, for my client, it is 8 inches. So 8 inches divided by 2 is 4. So I'm working with 4 inches. Alright, so I'm working with 4 inches. So I'm going to take this 4 inches all the way down to my waist point, all the way down to the waist point, and I'm going to connect using my straight ruler like so. Yeah, so this is it. Now we have our center and our side pieces, our center piece and the side pieces. Now the next thing I want to do is on the under bust area. We're going to want to get our curve, our bust here. This is a bust here, so we want to get the bust here. So I usually, for a bust of 40 inches to about 45 or 44, I usually use 1.5 inch on the side piece, and then on the center piece I usually use about 1 inch, 1 or of 1 inch, alright? But I decided to use 1 inch because I want it to be really busty, I want to be really busty. I'm going to be padding it, so I want the bust to be very obvious. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, using my curved ruler, I'm going to connect to the under bust, like so. So usually I go down from the bust point, I mean to say, I'm going to connect from the under bust to the bust point. So usually I go down by half of 1 inch on the bust point. I don't use the exact bust point. So this is what I mean. So I'll just place my curved ruler like this and then connect like so. Do you understand? The same thing with this part. The same thing with this part. But now I'm going to flip my curved ruler upside down, and connect to this part here. So that's it. And now on my shoulder, on the side piece, I'm going to go out from this apex line. I'm going to go in. Should I say go in now? By 1 inch, and that way I will use my curved ruler to connect. Alright? So I'll connect like so. So using my curved ruler, I'll just connect this way. And for this, you can actually allow it to just go straight like this. You can actually leave it that way, or you come out by half of 1 inch and then connect. Honestly speaking, if you leave it that way, it's still going to come out nice. It's still going to come out nice. And like I said, you can just do it like this. You can just do it like this by half inch. So it's still fine. Any which way, it's fine. It's perfect. So on the waist point, I came down this way by half inch. Came down by half inch, and I'm going to do the same thing here, half inch. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing here. So you can actually use half inch or you just connect to the line direct, alright? So but for me, I'll be making use of half on both sides. Alright, so I'll connect now to the underbust. Same thing here, I'll just connect. Like I said, you can choose to do it this way. You can choose to do it this way or use this half inch. Any which way is okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get my round measurement, which is my round bust. So I'm taking my round bust on my chest line, not on my off shoulder point, on the chest point, the chest line. So the bust circumference is 40 divided by 4. Circumference is usually divided by 4, so divided by 4 is 10. And so I'm going to indicate that. Honestly speaking, because this style does not have a full sleeve, usually from full sleeve I usually add 1 inch. That after this one I add 1 inch extra, but we don't need that because this is not a full sleeve. It's like a sleeve together, right? A band, something like that. So it's like bringing the shoulder. That's your shoulder when you're not fixing sleeve. The shoulder on your shoulder, like bringing it down to like your arm, something like that. So we don't need to add ease to that place. We need the bust area to be firm. So now we would leave the bust point, and on the under bust point, we're going to take the under bust circumference divided by 4, and I've done that and I've marked it. So on the waist point, we're also going to do that divided by 4. I've also done that. And the next thing I'll do is to get my curved ruler and connect in this manner, right? Connect, and connect it also. So I'll connect like so. Alright, so here we have it. Here we have it. So the next thing we want to do is we want to determine how much we are going to extend from this point. We want to determine how much we're going to extend from this point. So the method which I usually recommend, because sometimes some people will say use about 4 to 5 inches, but for me I don't think that's like a good thing to do, right? I don't think that's like a good thing to do or a good way to do it. So the one I usually recommend is you get your tape rule, right, and measure round your shoulder, like joining your arm together. Joining your arm together, you measure round the shoulder, so from front to the back. You know the way you measure your chest, your bust circumference, right? But this time around, you're adding your arms, yeah, that's your two hands, you're adding it on your shoulder. So you take the measurement round. Whatever circumference you get, you're going to divide it by 4. And for this, my customer, what I got was about 12 inches. What I got was about 12 inches after dividing by 4. Okay, so that's what I'm going to put here. Do you get? So that's basically the amount, the extra amount. So if I check very well, the extra amount is about 4 inches from this armhole line, right? It's about 4 inches. So if you notice, I made that measurement on the off shoulder line. Alright, so that's what I actually did on the off shoulder line. So the next thing we're going to do is, of course, you know that this shoulder, this thing did not stay. It's not straight. It's curved. What I mean by that is, it didn't go straight like this. It's curved. It's curved. It's curved in a way, right? So I'll extend my off shoulder out. I'll extend my off shoulder out, or I'll just indicate it. Instead of extending it out, I'll just indicate it. And so from that point, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up by 1 or 1.5. It just depends on you. I'm going to go up by 1 or 1.5. So, okay. Um, okay, sorry. I just remembered something. So, to get where the off-shoulder band will start from, off-shoulder band will start from, we didn't get that. So if you notice, apart from where the off-shoulder itself, or the chest area would start from, the sleeve itself, the sleeve itself is a bit higher than the off shoulder. Alright, so just watch closely, you understand what I mean. So what I usually do is I get the midpoint from this point to this point, from this baseline to the chest line. I get the midpoint. So I get the midpoint, right? Yeah, I get the midpoint. So sorry when I said you put your round body, like from your round arm or round shoulder. When I say you divide it by 4 and then you put it on your shoulder line, it's actually going to be on this line. Sorry, it's actually going to be on this line. So that's 12 inches. Alright, so it's not on the shoulder line, it's actually going to be on this line. Apologize. So that's basically what it is. So yeah, it's on this line. So from this point now, um, you can choose to go up by 1 inch. You go up by 1 inch, yeah. So from this point you go up by 1 inch, not from the off shoulder line. From this line now, you go up by one. After getting your point out there, that's the 12 inches. You go up by 1 inch. So once that is established, let's first of all connect it like so. So you understand what I'm doing. So now from this side, you're going to decide how many inches you want the band to be. So for me, I'm choosing 2.5 inches. So this 2.5 inches, I'm just going to close it like this, right? I'm just going to close it like this. So I'm choosing 2.5 inches. Now, this is this about this, yeah? Please, I hope this is not confusing. Just follow the steps that I'm taking and you're going to get it right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to determine how deep we want the V to be, right? How deep we want it to be. So for me, I'm using my exact bust point, right? So I'm going to get my curved ruler. So you can see from this point now, from here, do you see that I placed it on this point? So from here, I'm going to connect like so. I hope you can see. So for me, I'm going to connect like so to the bust point, right? To the bust point. So this is our sweetheart, right? This is our sweetheart. So you see that I still got found a way to connect it to this our point here. This our sleeve here, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is now I'm going to use my curved ruler. From this place, I'm going to place it like so. This is our measurement for bust. So I'm going to find a way to place it in a way that it gives me like an armhole shape. Did you see the way I'm placing it? It gives me like an armhole shape. So with that being said, I'm going to connect like that. Still from here, I'm going to connect like this, right? Back to this place. I'm going to connect like this back to this place. So usually, some people would go down by 1 inch. It is ideal that you do that after you're done sewing, right? For ease. Or you can still decide to go down by that 1 inch from your chest line. So maybe you go down by 1 inch this way and then connect it like so. Connect it like so. So either which way, it's your choice. It's your choice. You can decide to do that and then just extend it like this, right? So after going down, you go down by 1 inch and just extend it. That's to give this place more room and more ease. So when your customer wears it, gives him more room. Now don't forget to replace your dart. It's very important. So get what you need to replace here, about 2.5 inches, right? And then on this part about half inch, right? Half of an inch. So that's what we have here. So just find a way to connect from this point, right? And then to this point. Let me see if I can use my curved ruler. So you just have to connect it this way. Then for me, I think it's leave it like that though. Find a way to make it straight. I find a way to make it straight. My body is not in triangle. So I just find a way to make it straight. I find a way to make it straight like so, yeah. Yeah. So now we have the allowance for the dots and replaced already. So basically that is what it is, and yeah, this is basically how to get this particular sleeve. So for the back, it's just the same method. It's just the same method. The only difference is that for the back, you're not going to make use of this. You can actually go lower. You understand? You can actually go lower or use this exact off shoulder. Do you understand? You can actually use your left, your chest line or your off shoulder. What I mean by that is, I wish I have like a colored marker. What I mean by that is, so from this point, you may decide to do it this way. You may decide to do it this way. Let me make it a dot. Sorry. You may decide to go this way, right? For your back. Just go this way for your back. So that it's not like this, it's deep in. Yeah, so basically that's what it is. Or you can decide to go with your off shoulder that you use for your phone. So basically this is what it is. And yeah, I hope this was really, really impactful and you learned one or two. Thank you so much for watching till this time. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment if there is anything you would want me to to do a tutorial on. Kindly leave it in the comment section, and yeah, I'll check it and would treat it. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Remain blessed. This is So with Alma. I'm just trying to cut it out actually. So I want to cut it out so that you see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm trying to cut it out so you see what it looks like. Okay. So this is how to achieve it. It's not rocket science. So you see the way I'm trying to cut? I'm trying to ensure that, let me take this out. So I'm trying to ensure that this place is not sharp. So I kind of like curved it a bit so that it doesn't give me that sharp effect, right? Yeah, so thank you so much for um, joining today's tutorial. I hope you found it impactful. And yeah, so we'll see you in our next video. Bye bye.